We have a public hearing tonight on proposed lighting district for Whistling Straits subdivision, and managing with the lighting additions, stating certain things that are listed in our motion. That happened, I believe at our last board meeting, we received a petition from Whistling Straits, and we scheduled the public hearing for tonight. With part of the motion passed, if the board chooses to vote on establishing the lighting district, and unless there's any problems, I don't see why the board wouldn't, because our town code requires the establishment of one for a subdivision, which is what the developer is working on.
You know, I think it's something we do in all subdivision. It's very hostile. Not just common.
John Toohey, attorney with Wheatfield Street. Question for the board, really, for my own edification, as you interpret the town law. The district is to be created to the benefit of all of those homeowners in the subdivision. When you look at the map, you could argue maybe that there are a few sublots that wouldn't necessarily be benefited from the light standards. I'm not trying to confuse the waters and muddy the waters, but it's more of a question for the board. I just want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. There are 4 sublots that are actually located on Lockport Road, not either Squire or Piedmont, nor Ward or Hoover. So my question would be, would those 4 part of the subdivision that are actually outside of the district, would they be benefited from these light standards? I guess it's just a question really for the board.
Well, that subdivision requires a lighting district, and even though some of these homes may either be, I think you're talking about the ones that are on
7 through 10 are on Lockport, and there, which would have its own lights.
True, but I think it's sort of a broad term that the way the statute is interpreted, with the state law to establish light. I mean, it's part of that subdivision, so the light from those particular standards may not shine on that property, but it is part of the entire development, and it is of value to have the property value, proper lighting, proper aesthetics of the subdivision, of which they are a part, although sort of off to the side. So the way we interpret it, and I think the way a lot of things are part of the subdivision, even though maybe that light doesn't strike their property, maybe it doesn't, it's part of that subdivision. So in general, it benefits the entire subdivision, therefore it flows down benefits. So that's the way the statute looks at it. And in this case, it is a little unique because we have some that are on that main road, but it's still part of that subdivision, so we consider it all as one.
Man, at Brookhaven on Ward Road, we probably did the same thing there, where you have a few on Ward Road, and the rest of Brookhaven cuts in off the Ward Road.
Yeah,
all of the houses on Ward Road and Brookhaven have to pay for their lights.
they're part, I believe, part of the line district, and we did Brookhaven, and I think Mr. Toohey was the attorney there as well.
Brookfield.
Brookfield.
Brookhaven, maybe. Brookfield, okay, yeah.
Okay, I knew it was a brook, but I got the
Yeah. Well, you had a Haven one. Is there a Brookhaven? I don't know. Maybe there is.
Brookfield. But those, I think there were only 2 lots that were on Ward Road. I mean, but they are, part of the subdivision. In fact, one of those I think is on the corner, so it may get too light. But it's analogous. I think Larry, you're right. This just happens to be this particular subdivision, Whistling Straits, a little bit different, and there are some houses that are a little bit. They're continuous on the back side and on the front. But still, we look at it as one subdivision and a value to the entire subdivision, and therefore benefiting all the residents of that subdivision.
Not trying to undercut my position, but it was.
I'm sorry, my only thing to add to it is I also think that first phase of the subdivision, the lots along the road, was done before the town adopted and changed to their code and required lighting districts in all the subdivisions.
Oh, true.
If it's not included, that's probably right.
Yeah, true. I guess with Whistling Straits, I mean, this lighting district code changes in 2018, 2019, something like that, 2020. Whereas whereas Whistling Straits, I think, was approved in the 2000s.
Well,
Well, same thing, Whistling Straits.
swap it, move it around, that's it.
Well, Whistling Straits was approved quite a while back as well.
It was.
So, but it's one subdivision, so we look at it in entirety.
Thank you for your candor. I was just curious from, again, my own identifications, making sure that I had it right.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Anyone? I'll make a motion to close the public hearings. Need a second? Sorry. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we have, the board to consider one of our first motions as well.
We'll start our regular board meeting with pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we pray that you grant wisdom, welfare, and authority, that order and justice may be upheld to the benefit of all citizens, and guide us to better serve the people of our community. Restrain those who seek to destroy our government. We ask your divine wisdom to rest upon our leaders to guide them and protect them. Amen.
For the record, all board members are present. Approval of the minutes, February 13th, 2023. Can I have a motion, please? Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Minutes are approved. Approval of bill payment of March 6th, 2023, voucher number 202-30176 through 202-30311 with a full amount of $281,700.82. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Bills are paid. All statement.
Yeah, I said a couple things tonight. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock at my office, we're going to meet with the company that's putting in the new fuel system for the town. So if there's anybody on the board or any department heads that want to be there, if they have any questions, you're more than welcome to come. Like I said, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Just a pre-construction meeting, but they do want to get started on this as soon as possible, which I'm actually excited about. I'd like to see it get it done before summer so it doesn't interfere when we're getting busy during the summer. The other thing is, they're talking about lighting districts. We're having a real issue this year. One of the jobs my midnight crew does when there ain't snow to plow is they go around town and they check for all the streetlights out, because we pay for every streetlight whether it's working or not. And I mean, we've reported probably at least 40 of them this year, and they're coming back and they're going around to see if they fixed them, and they aren't fixing our streetlights. We had to make like 4 phone calls. Debbie actually had to make another phone call for a guy over on Nottingwood. His light's been out since January of 22. They just finally fixed it last Friday. So I don't know if, I mean, I know we talked about we were going to do an upgrade to the Acorn lights and we didn't. If that's why they're dragging their feet, because we didn't want to pay for that extra lighting or what. But I mean, other years, when I called in a light, unless there was a major problem, they had it fixed within a week or two. This year, my guys are going back around and they got the list that they had when the first part of the winter when they checked them, and lights still aren't fixed. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really have, we just call it in on the National Grid light portal. We don't really have any direct connections with them. We do the same thing that any town resident can do, actually. So if you do have a light out, you can call your own, and you got to have the address and the pole number.
Paul, do you have a list of all of them?
I'm sure we have one back at the shop. I know the one in Nottingwood, part of the problem was there was no numbers on the pole that the light was on. I don't know whether somebody painted the pole thinking they were doing a good deed and painted over the numbers or what, but National Grid that has no numbers on it's not our pole. Well, yeah, it is their pole, but I mean, this guy waited for a year and a half. He's been calling me about it.
There's been a few lights. Like there's one at the corner of Lockport and Walmart. That's driving me nuts because that's a busy intersection. It used to be, to your point, right on top of it, and now it's slowed down. So maybe I'll gather a list. I'll work with you and pull in a few people at the grid and see what we can.
Okay. The only other thing I had is this week, Wednesday, I'm leaving for Albany. We leave early Wednesday morning. We come back late Thursday night. It's Advocacy Day. We go down and pester all the bigwigs in New York for more money. And I do want to say, over the 9 years I've been going, our CHIPS funding went from 88,000 to almost double that money with all the programs that they don't really like to add the CHIPS themselves, but they've added Pave New York, Extreme Weather, now this thing called POP for potholes. So I mean, we have done some good down there. I mean, when considering we doubled the money that we've gotten, I mean, it costs us a few bucks to go down there to do it, but it is paying off. We have managed to double the amount of money we get from the state, so that's one good thing. So I will be out of town from Wednesday morning until Thursday night. And that's all I got, unless you guys have questions.
Water sewer.
Good evening. We just have a couple of things to report tonight. I'd like to give the annual report on the electronic waste that we got dropped off last year, the TVs and computers. The total weight that was dropped up to us was 37,000 pounds of electronic waste over the last year, which is a good number, right? The other thing I want to mention is one of my many motions is for the new truck in 2022. We went through New York State OGS this time instead of piggybacking off of Onondaga, and we saved about $10,000 doing it that way. That's basically what I got for tonight.
Somebody asked the question earlier, at the last board meeting, we approved the truck, correct?
That was for me.
That was Paul.
That was Paul.
That was, okay. Somebody had the question of whether this was the same truck or not.
Oh, no, different truck.
All right.
I know there's a motion for a camera system, is that, do we have one there already, and we're operating, or do we not have a?
We do not have a camera system there yet.
Do you feel like this is for people dropping stuff off and just?
Just general security, yeah.
Okay.
And I believe this is on the carbon, right?
That truck,
I don't know, not the truck.
Security system.
yes, there was a motion coming from,
Right, well, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Anything else, Mark?
I'm all set. Thank you, guys.
Go on. That's all right. All right, thank you. Mike.
I'm good, how are you? Just two quick important dates coming up. Friday, March 24th, baseball, softball registrations will end. We do take overflows into the next week, just to meet teams and kind of get even numbers along the way. The next date I had on my head, the 27th, Monday the 27th. 6 a.m. will be our summer camp registrations. Our link is on the website. It'll go live at 6 a.m. First come, first serve. We'll take the first 50. The next 25 plus will go on the waiting list. And then the last thing, I was appointed June 10th, 2013, by this board, or at least some of the board members, and June is kind of a busy month, so I was kind of thrust into a situation I wasn't totally prepared for, despite telling the board that I was. The next morning, before I could even brief my guys, I got a phone call from Rich Donner. And Rich, I never talked to him in my life. And he said, hey, got your number from somebody, I don't really, just wanted to let you know that I am here for you. And that meant a lot. And I don't know, I've never told Rich that, but that really hit home, that he had my back. I've never talked to him in my life. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that, Rich. Appreciate it. That's all.
Mike, that's, you probably want to take on this. Would it? That's related to that community center that you have on that.
Yeah, I'll post it in my house.
Mike Clark.
Everybody seems to be coming up.
Good evening, Mike. Why not? First off, I do have some exciting news in the building department. Our new Ford Escape Auctions International, and we'll have that hopefully sold by the next board meeting. You know, it's been on for less than 2 days. We're already, I think we're close to a couple of grand already, so we're moving in the right direction. So it'll offset some of the cost. Maybe pay for some new tires or something, I don't know. Yeah, but thank you.
How are we doing on the insulation upstairs?
The other quote from one of the other contractors told me originally would be 4 weeks before they get here. It's been 8. They have not shown up. Another one showed no interest, so out of the 4 or 5 we contacted, we have 2 written proposals.
What was the cost?
I believe one was around $6 or $7. Well, I think we'll maybe tie that in with maybe a conversation with the windows, because I think I have an idea of it.
Anything else? I don't need anything from us.
Thanks.
Hey, Mike Ronaldi, like, you know, the old SUV buildings, is that the put up in Auctions International?
I'm struggling to get Mike, did you ever get a hold of Anderson?
Yeah.
I haven't got a phone call back from him yet. He wasn't sure he was able to auction it off because of the damage on the frame. So he was gonna check with somebody to see if that was something they could auction off, or we have to just sell parts.
Okay, I mean, can't we just sell it for parts only?
I suppose.
I thought maybe we were gonna make a plan around it. But I mean, I know the frame is not in it, and, you know, we can put it out to bid locally, when there's interest in from over. I don't know. Rather have it sit there.
Right.
But can we check on that to see if we can put it on Auctions International as is, frame is and stuff, I mean, something you want to motor on.
Alright.
Nobody's gonna do it. Nellie? What's that?
Taxable status date has come and gone, March 1st, so all exemptions, and now I'm working to do tentative roll. My tentative roll is due April 10th to the county. Other than that, just keep it up on that.
Anybody have any Kelly?
Kelly, we have a motion, to accept a Article 7 tax assessment case. There's already asked by one board member about it. I just wanted to make sure while they're up there, if any of the board members have a question about that, motion.
Which one, I'm sorry, which is?
It is for Lewiston Management.
So Lewiston Management is a small storage facility over by the 7-Eleven Wilson Farm, something over on Plaza Drive, right?
Yeah.
I went with the other storage facilities, like number of units and what the charge was per unit, and offered them something, and they took it. I didn't go anywhere near what they wanted me to lower it to, but I lowered it a little bit, and the county and the school district were okay with my number. It doesn't affect us, because we don't have a town tax. It affects the school and the county more, and when we had that meeting with the county attorney and the school attorney, they were okay with my number and letting it go at that rate. So it's comparable to the other storage facilities, which are much bigger in the town.
And, I just wanted, in case anybody has any questions, but that is one of the motions we have.
Anything else? Councilors, any reports on it?
No report.
Good evening. We only have a couple things for you this evening. The one formal agenda item that we have is a proposal for our 2023 Stormwater Program Assistance. This is the proposal that we put in the spring every year. It's for our MS4 Speedies Permit Assistance. It covers us compiling our annual report to summarize the activities 2022, presenting here at a public hearing and getting the annual report into the DEC by the 1st of June. As we've also done in the previous years, we included some time in here to help get Bill Young up to speed in some of the inspection activities. I know he's getting training from the stormwater coalition, but this will be me actually going out, showing the stuff that I've done this past year for a limited time and letting them run with it. So, we have a proposal in there. We did have this number included, I believe, in our budget estimates back in August. So if there's any questions on that, when that comes up, I'm here for it. The other item that's actually not on our agenda, but we spoke about, a couple weeks ago, we had a pump rep from Xylem. They do manufacture Goodwin pumps. Basically, we wanted to get a quote from them for a rental fee for one of their 6-inch pumps for pumping either stormwater or actually in some conditions you can do sanitary sewage. But we wanted to get a rental fee for that so we could actually try the pump out in a couple different circumstances and see how well it works and see if a purchase of a piece of equipment like that would be something that would help the town. So I guess I don't have a motion put together for that, but we could add some kind of motion to. Right, the quote assumes that the town will pick it up and then take it back. Their office is in Batavia. It's around $1,500, maybe $10 or $20 more with their environmental fee. Sure, more than covered.
I'll do a motion to approve $1,600 for the rental for trial on low roads. Can I make that into a motion? Can I have a second? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Nay, motion carried.
Okay, and I'll coordinate with Paul, not this week while he's gone, but the time when he's back, when there's time for men.
If they were, when that pump was hooked up, I'd like to just take a look and see how it works. I hope you're asking. Right along with you, as long as you're feeling better.
Come with me tonight?
That's all we have.
I think we should wait until we got some higher water though. Don't you? I mean.
Yeah, I haven't seen what the level is of this exact.
I went over there the other day and it wasn't bad at all. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather wait. I don't want to see the road flood out to try it, but I'd rather see us get a little higher in the pond first.
Well, once you make that call, and if you guys would coordinate with the people that have the pump, the spring is coming, I would just like to avoid a flood as much as possible, see how that pump and that other adjustment would be made. Okay, Paul?
Yep.
Thank you. Dave Godfrey, County Legislature.
As you probably recall, during the December storm, Niagara County was excluded from the declaration, so we were not to receive our FEMA reimbursement for all the money that we spent. Jonathan Schultz put all the numbers together. We far exceeded that. And so Orange County also was excluded. 2 weeks ago, I was in Washington and met with Schumer, Gillibrand, and Tenney, and said this actually is ridiculous, that contiguous counties would have been excluded. Early next week, or last week, we are now approved in Niagara County to receive the reimbursement for that center storm under FEMA. That was good news. The past week, I was in Albany. The bad news there is the governor, in her proposed budget, is taking a lot of light out of the county monies that we're supposed to get. A big chunk of money comes from the federal government, and it is to help offset the cost of our Medicaid. Medicaid is our highest cost of the county. There are 9 mandates from the state that we have to meet. They're mandates that we have to cover. Medicaid is the highest. So in the past, the federal government says, we'll help you out. Gave the governor of New York State $625 million to distribute across the various counties based on population and so on and so forth. She's sweeping that in her own coffers. That means in Niagara County, there's a $6 million shortfall in our budget this year. That's just about a 10% tax increase for our people if this goes through. You roll it into next year, in the 4-year plan that she's proposing in her budget, it's a 27% tax increase. It is absolute insanity what she's doing in Albany. So, this past week, all of the counties, 57 of the 62 in the state, voted obviously, push this back and say, we need that money. It's a mandate that you said we have to do. The feds gave you the money, it's not your money, give us the funding. That's the tip of the iceberg. What I heard this past week was absolutely made me vomit for what she's trying to do. A lot of this money, which really upsets me, is she's saying we need housing in New York City. Well, guess what they need the housing for? Illegal aliens. So she's doing as we suspected, she's building her voter base, and she's taking that away from our counties. So, just an FYI, we are fighting it along with all of the other counties in New York State. Push back on her. But it's going to be a long fight. We're not that far from the budget, but there's a totally, Albany is totally upside down on this whole thing. Keep you informed, we'll stay tuned. It's all in the NISAC news. I know you have access to that. But we're doing the best we can.
So there's anything we can do as a municipality to support the county, let me know, if it's via letter, whatever we can to support it.
Yeah, thank you.
Also,
quick update, the Purple Heart Monument is going along good. We have the final plans, for the base and everything else like that. The second thing, Don, I sent you an email asking for candidates to put on our Farm Advisory Council that the legislature had voted on a week or so ago to bring together all of our local farmers. Again, push back on the governor, who seems to be taking everything away and causing overtime on top of overtime for our farmers, literally trying to put them out of business. So I look forward to some candidates. I'll get those to Chairman Whittick, and we'll get that council going.
I'm going to read this statement. They're looking for a county is asking for volunteers to sit on the agricultural rights advocacy panel.
Correct.
If there's anybody interested, or you know somebody that may be interested, maybe a local farmer or businessman, you can contact myself or Dave, and we can get into the county.
That will be Chairman's appointment. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Appreciate it. Okay, now contact.
Just one item, so everybody knows. And I did give a copy of the copies that you made over there to Larry, so hopefully we can get that in paper. But that's our focus right now for the Veterans Group for the 20th. We do have a table. My participation should be pretty good. I'm looking forward to the event. I'm glad we're having it. Hopefully we'll see everybody there.
Thank you. While you're talking about it, there is some handout today, this might be something you might be, maybe you're probably aware of it, but on March 20th, there will be at the community center, a veterans group, and also it will be honoring the Vietnam veterans. Dave, there's a handout right there. You will receive a pin and a certificate for the Vietnam veterans.
Already registered for that?
Okay. We're trying to get as much info out as possible, but again, there is some flyers up there if anybody's interested. And it doesn't have to be a town of Wheatfield veteran, it can be anybody in Niagara County. But they will receive a pin and commemorative certificate, because anybody knows that the Vietnam veterans were not treated well coming back from Vietnam.
And then so.
That's terrible. So I guess it's the way the federal government saying thank you. But there'll also be veterans rights groups there. VA will be there. Niagara County will be there. Any veterans that come and have questions about health and services, it will be a great forum at our community center. Again, that's March 20th, 2023, and that is, I believe, from 1 to 4. I'm sorry. 1:30. I'm sorry. 1:30.
1 o'clock? Oh, 1:30.
Anyway, March 20th at the community center. Okay, motions, Matt Brooks.
Okay, first motion is the one that was, mentioned by Tim Comando, to authorize budget to provide stormwater management program assistance for the year 2023 in accordance with the proposal letter dated March 2nd, 2023, for a time and expense estimated to be at $9,800.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion, resolution, and this is with regard to our public hearing from earlier. Resolution pursuant to New York State Town Law, Section 194, to adopt an order approving and establishing the Whistling Straits Lighting District and reciting that the town of Wheatfield was presented by Whistling Straits LLC, a petition to create a lighting district for the Whistling Straits subdivision containing the boundaries of the proposed district, the lighting improvements proposed, and the estimated cost of the proposed district to the property contained therein. And further reciting a public hearing on the proposed lighting district was held tonight, March 6, 2023, at 7 p.m. And further reciting, the petition was signed and acknowledged as required by law and is otherwise sufficient. All the property owners within the proposed lighting district have benefited. All the property and all property owners benefited by the proposed district were included within the limits of the district. And it is in the public interest to grant the relief requested and establish the district.
So moved. Second. And a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion, resolved to approve and authorize the town attorney to sign and execute the stipulated order in the tax assessment case of Lewiston Management Group LLC versus the town of Wheatfield et al.
So moved.
Second. And a motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion, resolved to approve the proposal of KL Tech for an internet-based workforce training and compliance initiatives for 1 year at the price of $6,000.
So moved. And a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Just so you know, I did speak with Ed about this, and what we're going to do is to look at the amount of employees, is to do a breakdown and draw for each department to make the cost of the training. And, sometime at our next department head meeting, I'd like to sit down with the department heads to talk about how we're going to do this training and about notebooks for the recreation department, and just to get a better handle on what we're going to do. But I think it's long overdue, some of this training. If you look at what's offered, there's a lot of good programs, really good quality guys, all of the guys and girls. Thank you. Go ahead.
Next motion, resolved, the town board hereby approves and authorizes the use of a portion of the American Rescue Plan Act grant to be used for the purchase and installation of a security camera system for the water sewer department at 3113 Niagara Falls Boulevard from PDM Services, Inc. at a cost of $19,700, which was the lowest responsible bid received.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion, to approve amendments to the 2023 general fund, water fund, and sewer fund budgets to provide estimated revenues and budget appropriations for the use of a portion of the American Rescue Plan Act grant to be used for the purchase and installation of security camera system for the water sewer department as follows, and that is as presented in the motion package.
So moved.
I'll make the second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So you're gonna, see where it is?
Yes, he's aware of this. Next motion, to reappoint Larry Hellig to a 1-year term of the board of the Wheatfield Local Development Corporation Committee.
Good job, Matt.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We're a little white on the eyes.
Next motion, resolved to move Justin Mann from a labor grade 7 at $23.27 per hour to a water sewer 1 grade 8 step 2 with a wage of $23.80 per hour.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Motion to authorize the water sewer department to declare 2009 Ford F-250 and various items including trash pumps, lawnmowers, generators, and other unneeded equipment, all as surplus equipment, to allow the water sewer department to place said surplus truck and equipment items on Auction International for sale. This resolution requires, upon receipt of any bid offers for the purchase of said surplus truck and equipment items, that the town board will review the bids and authorize the sale of the items. The eventual proceeds of the sale will be used towards the water sewer department's purchase of the equipment.
Before you do it to a motion, This will all be done individually, each?
Individual pieces, we got them on pallets.
I'm sorry?
Excuse me, we got them on pallets right now, itemized.
Okay, so I mean, it's not just one bid.
The truck will go out as one bid, and then they've got, individual lots of, like, weed whackers and pumps and generators in separate lots.
Okay, so there'll be separate bids on
Yes.
each of those items.
Not a, they'll be grouped in, but they'll be separate groups on a
Maybe we
ballot.
could do the highest bidder one at the recreation department, SUV.
Throw it in?
So good.
Just to throw in?
Ah.
Just throw it in.
Uses a planter, all kinds of things.
Okay.
I have a motion to second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion to authorize the request of Mark Clark, Deputy Superintendent of the Water Sewer Department, to purchase a new 2022 Ford F-250 XL 4x4 pickup from New York State OGS Town of Wheatfield mini bid 12548. The bid has been awarded to Town Ford for the amount of $33,485.86 to be paid from the Water Sewer Department's 2023 equipment budget. So moved.
Second. Motion to second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mark, we thought you were getting a new truck every 2 weeks, so we were a little panicky tonight, we saw the truck.
Okay. Next motion, again from the Water Department, to authorize the request of Mark Clark, Deputy Superintendent of the Water Sewer Department, to approve sending of Mark Clark to the New York Rural Water Association Conference at the Lake Placid Conference Center, May 21st to May 24th in Lake Placid. Hotel cost is a discounted rate of $406.35. Registration is $340 together with associated costs. The event is for water sewer training, meeting paper vendors along with demonstrations.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion again from the Water Department to authorize the request of Mark Clark, Deputy Superintendent of the Water Sewer Department, to approve the purchase of an additional 164-gallon recycle bins, the total amount of $6,749.98.
Second. I have a motion to second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hey, Mark, you want to spend money, don't you?
Yeah, 2 weeks, nothing.
And the last motion.
It's not a panic attack.
I figured.
Last motion is from the town clerk, was resolved to approve extend the 50 Bose postage meter contract at a cost of $66.38 per month for a 5-year contract.
So,
I have a motion and a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And that's it for the motions.
Board members, Larry Howard.
Just one item, I'm starting to get communication from the Cub Scout Pack on the Liberty Drive cleanup. And, they decided on April 22nd, which is Earth Day this year. So we've got Cub Scout Pack 824 out of Sanborn and 833 out of Adams. And, Precious Plate, who has really stepped up to the plate on this because they gave a donation to both packs the last 2 years. They paid for all the donuts, all the gloves, they gave them that, so he's trying to get more of the businesses on Liberty Drive to participate, but this would be a 32nd year doing it, but the first, it's getting better. We get the dumpster from the sewer treatment plant, it's getting better every year. The first year we had it, we filled 2 dumpsters, I think there was like a 30 or 40 yard dumpster we filled with tires, and there was another dumpster full of everything from refrigerators to kitchen sink. But, and we cut it way back, we probably picked up about 20 bags. The only thing I'd ask, is the highway department, there's probably a half a dozen or more tires around there. Between now and the middle of next month, if you guys could, if you get a rainy day or something, you could pick up whatever tires cost.
Yep, the only problem is, what do we do with the tires with rims on them?
Okay, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I know, I don't think they have rims on them, I've seen a few of them, I don't think they have rims.
We did do a big cleanup along 102nd Street. We mowed all that back, so there wasn't as much brush along here, so you could see it down there better.
Yeah.
And we picked up some garbage along there as we were doing it, but like I said, tires, modern take tires with no rims. We'll pick up everything I got, I just gotta know where I'm gonna get rid of them, that's all.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with once we bring them, maybe I'll get into the sewer plant. That's all I have.
Thank you, Larry. And, let's see, what we got now? I don't have any.
I just want to thank, Rich for everything, over the years. You know, you were also very patient with me when I started on the board, answered all my questions and everything. And you also left the town in very capable hands with your, succession plan, and I'm really excited about the future, so just thanks for everything.
Which you will be at the next board, right? Yes.
Why not?
Got nothing else to do.
We're gonna have a big cake for you.
He's retired tomorrow.
Randy?
I have nothing.
And I've got just a couple things, just a reminder for all the board members also listening to me today, that this is a reminder, the public hearing notice put in by the Department of Transportation, that on March 22nd, 2023, there will, from 4 to 6:30, there will be a public hearing, or I guess a public, it is a public hearing on the scenic highway trail between Northtown and Wanda and Niagara Falls. So, I'm hoping that all the board members or anybody that's interested in the latest trail, that they will come in and observe. And, again, the public hearing will be March 22nd, from 4 to 6:30 at our community center. And, Kathy, I think you copied that today, and I'll make sure everybody gets copied of this copy.
The tribune will probably go something.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. And, there'll be a lot of interested people, especially along River Road, between Northtown and Wanda and Niagara Falls. So, hopefully the public hearing will go well, and we'll see how that goes. Also, just a reminder, Dave, I'm sure you're aware of this, the special event for the Vietnam veterans at our community center. I hope, that you've all attended, families are also invited too. And that's, also, one of the things, I know Justin left already, and he's looking at putting a presentation on here at the town hall. Justin just dropped out something that I want to look at, he said he cut it down. We'll see how much it was cut down, because originally it was like a 3-hour presentation on the history of Wheatfield. And also, you have to remember, this will be 50 years at our town hall. So we're looking at making it a kind of a special event, doing some, token coins for the Wheatfield Town Hall on one side, and the Wheatfield crest on the other, so when people come to the history of Wheatfield presentation, they'll also get a coin, including our town board members. So, again, it's 50 years at the town hall, where the years go. And, so that's, I was hoping Justin was gonna stay, but he did.
Did you pick a day yet for that then?
No, we're discussing it probably sometime in May. Again, I haven't looked at his James presentation version to see how it's long. So we have to trim it down. But that's all I have. Any public input, anybody else? Next meeting is March 20th, 2023 at 7 o'clock, and a motion to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Thank you for attending, folks.
Hey, guys.
Mark, you want to lay up that sign?
I got everything. That's because you're here, Dick. You got everything. Talk about, well, at least the way to be automation. Be nothing to fire now.
You're not riding down on the bus with Wild Man Johnson?
Yes, I'm Moses.
God bless you.
Randall.
Yes, I know the name. Add all the stars to it. Billy? Travis? Billy, Travis, and then all Travis guys. They were all there. Stars were all there. But they got the building. They can choose a first one. They live
lived in the county at the time?
No, I don't assess it.
Or if they moved away, because they lived in the county, or they got it while living in Alabama, came to the county and stayed for a while, or even stayed and moved on. If you had been a resident at any time prior to receiving